in that case, right? Yeah, basically, I've been calling all these out for ages. None of them wanted to fight me. I ended up having to fight Callum Mullen. That was my last fight in Octagon. To be fair, Jan Siraki fought me, but he was the one guy. Then he got absolutely decimated, and no one else wanted to fight me after that. Um, I've not been the only one with that trouble, by the way. A former opponent of mine, George Staines, has been going through the exact same thing. I think three guys now have refused to fight him. So they all want to talk shit about me losing to George Staines in the fourth round of a 5 round fight. Um, but then, same time, these guys all have like 8, 9, 10 pro fights, and they're running from them. So it's like they know the level that we're bringing. And as I said after I fought George, like when Octagon and the rest of the MMA community see what me and him go on to do separately from each other in different ways, because obviously I've won a couple of decisions since that fight on Octagon through my striking prowess, distance management, pinging guys up from outside, trying to keep it on the feet, scrambling back to my feet. He's won 2 decisions, holding guys down, beating them up from top. So it's very polar opposite sides of the MMA game, but like we've done similar things since against much more experienced guys, both of us. So yeah, it's interesting now that no one wants to fight either of us. So you know what? I'll give it to Robin Frank. He actually accepted the fight, which is his mistake. But yeah, I'm sure after this fight now, even less people are going to want to fight me.
Man, Octagon 68, March 8th against Robin Frank. It has been a long time coming, man. And I'm happy to see you got a fight book, but I was a bit surprised that they contacted me and I was like, oh yeah, I know Denis Frimpong. And I checked the record and I was like, man, he hasn't fought in such a long time, man. Man,
Yeah.
let's get you some money. Let's make you some cash, right?
This is it, mate. And I've got a baby due now. I've got a baby on the way in May.
Nice.
So yeah, I just need to be active. I need this is my livelihood at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like doing PTs and a little bit of coaching here and there doesn't pay the bills, especially when it comes to having a baby. I don't know whether you know yourself, but like babies are expensive, mate. So yeah, like yeah, I've just got to start getting these fights out. And I'm 30 now. I'm coming into my prime. I don't want to sit on the bench for my prime years. I want to be out there active, beating guys up. Um, to be honest, like it's only served me well because having like a bit of time away from preparing for specific opponents and stuff has allowed me to focus on my own skill set and bring my own level up. So since the last fight, you will have seen a massive jump up in my level, like nearly a year's worth of work going into that. So
That is such a threat, isn't it? Like this is the best I've ever been, and I'm only getting better, man. That's a scary statement.
100%. I keep saying this to people. Like I made my amateur MMA debut like 3.5 years ago, if that. 3 years and a few months ago.
Mm.
So I'm still making my like baby gains, my newbie gains as far as grappling, wrestling, striking. Obviously my jiu-jitsu I had decent jiu-jitsu from before, but yeah, like the longer people leave it to fight me, the worse off they're going to be. Georgia probably actually made a good decision in fighting me early while he still had a bit of an advantage because all these other guys that have been running, when they eventually have to fight me in 2, 3 years, because they have no choice, they're going to regret not fighting me earlier in my career.
And I'm excited for it. Okay, now let me tell you this timeline here. Actually, hang on. I just went on vacation to Ghana. Are you born in Ghana?
Nah, nah, nah. My dad's from Ghana. I've only been once.
Gotcha, gotcha. I spent the last 2 weeks there. It is an awesome, awesome country. The
Yeah.
people are amazing. The food was brilliant. Oh man, it was great.
Whereabouts in Ghana did you go?
Okay, we did Accra. We went up to Kumasi with the
Yeah,
Asante people, and then came down to
yeah,
Mole National Park. And every place
nice.
was absolutely awesome. What about yourself?
Yeah. No, when I was there, I went mainly to Kumasi.
Such a cool
But I
city.
did I did go to Accra as well. My dad's like from Kumasi. He's Ashanti, so I'm half Ashanti myself.
Yep.
Yeah, the food, the colors, like the clothing, the music, the culture, the vibes, like everyone's just so friendly there. And I feel like, in this part of the world, we get given this idea that you go to Africa and it's just like safari. and like people are living in mud huts, but like it's a nice place. You know what I mean? If you've got money, you go there. It's a really nice place to go. You can do a lot of nice things. The tourism industry over there is booming at the moment right now. So yeah, I need to actually go back myself soon. As soon as the baby's come and is a little bit older, I'm definitely going to have to go visit the fatherland and yeah, get back in touch with the roots. You know.
Man, it was a cool place. And Kumasi, super chill, fun city. And like you said, the Ashanti people, incredible rich history and like famed for having so much gold. And then the English showed up. So we have a museum of the gold we used to have.
Yeah, it does, but at the same time, I've moved away from sort of speaking about. It's almost like when we speak about the history of Africa, it like starts with the slave trade. Like that's where history starts. But there was people there for thousands of years before that. You know what I mean? And a lot of the history they kept was vocal, and like it was through song or through poetry. Um, and people didn't write stuff down because they had good memories. You know what I mean? Like and yeah, like you said, the Ashanti Kingdom was massive. They ruled a lot of that region, you know, and like you said, they had abundances of gold. Never needed, never needed to make steel weapons or discover guns, which was, I suppose, their downfall. Because then when the colonialists arrived with guns and steel weapons, they were able to take that gold off them. It's really hard to make a sword out of gold. It's quite heavy, so. Um, but yeah, I definitely want to go back as an adult. I've not been as an adult. I was there as a kid, so I'd like to go back again as an adult and re-experience that.
Let's go, man. Next time. Let's go together, eh?
You just hit me up when you're going, mate, and I'll go with you.
Let's do it. Okay, but that actually wasn't what I wanted to ask. I went on vacation for 2 weeks, and when I came back, you and Paddy Pimblett had gotten in a fight, and I actually don't have any context. What the hell happened here? What the fuck?
Do you want to know what? Do you want to know what? I thought we were cool, to be honest. Yeah. I never thought we had any beef. Obviously, I'm good friends with Shem. He trains with Paddy. So I never thought there was any issue there. Obviously, some of the stuff I said to George on the show when we filmed Oktagon Challenge, Paddy obviously took some issue to that. I suppose he's like the big brother of their gym. And even though me and George don't have any issues anymore, because we've resolved it in the cage, Paddy obviously had some issue with that, but we'd not really seen each other or spoken since that show was shot. So yeah, he obviously had some issues. I had a fight where like I basically like I had to fight this kind of nobody because the guy I was meant to fight pulled out on like the day after I've weighed in, pulled out. So he started commenting on that off his his private page. I went back and forth with him a little bit. He's ended up like saying, "Oh, I'll come up to your gym and batter you," and I was like, "All right, okay, cool." So I've done a video. Video blew up a little bit. Then he's gone on holidays to Mexico, and he said, "Right, when I'm back from holidays, we'll have a spar." We've sorted out a date, and then he's come up and had a spar. And you know what? To be fair, like I'm big on that. Like I'm big on like, not reacting in a way as blokes, especially nowadays. I feel like everyone's very quick to pick up a knife or pick up a weapon and do something that could ruin their life and someone else's life. Where what me and him did. We organized it, got into a controlled environment, each had our fair play man there, each had our people there, so nothing kicked off. Had a knock, and then shook hands afterwards, and that's it. You know what I mean? And I think that's how, as men, that's how our problems should be sorted out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why we do fighting. Like the sports side is awesome. Love the sports side, but I mean, once you get in a fist fight, you can't be mad at that guy anymore. It's done. We fought.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's that's how it was like when I was growing up. We just had a fight. Like some of my best mates I had fights with, and then we became good mates from that. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, I fought my buddies too. It's fun. But okay, I listened to Michael Bisping talking about this, you guys, and he said hard sparring is actually very normal. It's a really healthy thing for a lot of fighters to do. The problem now is everyone's got cell phones, but hard sparring, this was kind of par for the course.
Mate, exactly. And like for me, I think I won that whole situation because he won the actual spar, but I got to get in there and have a hard spar that was essentially a fight, like with serious consequences, you know, because we were trying to knock each other out with a top 15 guy at my weight division in the UFC.
Yep.
So got to test out my level against someone of that caliber, got to see where the holes are, what like someone of that level would do to me, and like what holes they would expose. So I got to get that experience, you know. Everyone's talking about it, obviously, so everyone's going to have eyes on my next fight now. You know, there's going to be a lot more eyes on my next fight than there would have been. And yeah, you know, like, listen, I just had hard sparring this morning, and you know, obviously, when guys come in from other gyms, you know, with your teammates, it's kind of like you have that like sort of, oh, I don't want to hurt you kind of level of respect or whatever. When people come in from other gyms, which they did today, you're going at it. You know, it's essentially a fight simulation. Um, there was no cell phones. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't like this big thing that we'd hyped up where there's beef and all this and that and the other. But like just as hard sparring today as I had with Paddy. Do you know what I mean? Just shin pads and big gloves on, but we were fucking going for it. You know, so it is what it is. Like Michael Bisping said, it's needed sometimes. You need a different look, a different body, someone who doesn't know your game, someone who doesn't see you every day in the gym, that you don't like hang out with outside the gym. It's just a guy that's going to come and try and hurt you, and you're going to try and hurt him.
Okay, one last question on that, and then I want to move on. But I'm bringing up the video now. He held onto that choke a little longer than normal. Was that agreed upon, or what's the deal?
I mean, it was agreed upon in text before the fight actually started.
Yeah.
It was said like, "Oh, we go until someone quits," basically, and it is what it is. In my head, I knew that if he got a choke on, he was going to try and choke me unconscious. Like it was that simple. I knew going into it. I did say to the guys, like, listen, if he gets like a leg lock or something, or if he gets a shoulder lock or an arm bar, and he doesn't let go, break it up. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yes.
I don't want to be injured. I've got a fight in 6, 7 weeks that I'm actually making money for. As far as going to sleep from a choke, I'm not arse about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And if, like I said, if I hadn't knocked him out, I probably would have tried punching him a couple more times until I got pulled off. So it is what it is. You know, it's the heat of the moment, and people that don't fight or like do martial arts can't really understand that. There was bad blood, and in the heat of the moment, you're gonna do things that like maybe you wouldn't do in a normal spar. Does that make sense?
And it's done now. But let's move forward here. It seems like we're entering the Denis Frimpong, like the era. This is where you're really coming at. You got a fight going on. You just joined Summit Sports Management. Tell me a little bit about these Summit Sports people.
Yeah. So they're my new management company. You know, shout out to Ollie. He's very thorough. And yeah, I think that's like the next stage of my career. They're gonna back me. I'm gonna back them, and they're gonna bring me to that next level. In terms of exposure, in terms of like doing my career the right way, not just fighting, but like business wise and like my plans for after my career. It's a short career, so I'm not going to be fighting I don't plan to be fighting when I'm 45. So what am I going to be doing after that, and like making sure everything's set up for then, if that makes sense. But yeah, shout out Summit Sports. They've signed a couple of guys, a couple of talents from Manchester top team. And yeah, I'm thankful for them to give me that chance as well to bring me on board on this journey that we're going to go on.
Man, the talent at Manchester Top Team is just insane. What's going on at that gym, man? Like what you guys are doing every day there is absolutely bananas, right?
100%. Like, even when you looked on the mats today, we had like Laurel Murphy top 15, close to top 10, I think, in the UFC. You've got like the high level kickboxers, high level wrestlers. Like usually you have Ibragimov, who just fought on the weekend. He's in there. High level wrestler, Dagestanis. We have Farouk Ali Ghazayev, another Dagestani wrestler. We've got guys that come in from all over the place, like the likes of Corey Fry, who also fights on Oktagon, come down to get rounds in. You've got just so many guys. Martin Stapleton, a veteran of the game as well, come down to get rounds in. Whenever you look on the mat and you see the talent around and the journey, that trajectory that everyone's going on, you can't help but be motivated. Like I come in here and like people see my striking and they see like how silky it is and how smooth it is, and mate, I get beat up in the gym. Do you know what I mean? There's guys that are much better striking that I'm shooting on. You know what I mean? And I haven't shot in a fight since like my amateur days. I've never shot a takedown in a pro fight. So guys in here have me shooting, and then it just gives me that confidence that like the likes of a Robin Frank who's going to try and strike at me, it's like, mate, you don't have the striking caliber to make me scared, to make me fear anything that you're presenting, you know.
Man, I'm so excited for this one. Now, you got into the sport, like you said, just a couple of years ago, but who are your main inspirations for you of fighters that you looked up to
In MMA,
yes,
or just sports as a whole.
sports as a whole and MMA? Let's
Sports
do.
as a whole. I mean, MMA specifically, I would say Anderson Silva was a massive inspiration in terms of my style and in terms of the way he fought. But obviously Conor McGregor. You know, like I'm Irish, I'm an MMA fighter. Like I probably wouldn't be doing MMA if it wasn't for Conor McGregor. He sort of shone the light onto Ireland and made it like a, a possible route, you know, like it wasn't. I always used to watch MMA before him and think, God, that's just something the Brazilians and the Americans do. Like that's like something for like them. There's no MMA gyms in Ireland. And then he goes and wins the world title and you're like, oh, okay, maybe like it's something I could do, you know. So I started with jiu-jitsu obviously at that point and worked my way up. But yeah, those would be my two main MMA like inspirations. In terms of sports as a whole, you know, Carl Lewis is a pretty high up there guy, track and field athlete from back in the day. For anyone that doesn't know, fought through a lot of adversity. You know, just that champion mindset, that like to be the best in the world at multiple disciplines when most people can't even be the best in the world at one discipline. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So you got some Anderson Silva, some Conor McGregor's. Now, there might be some people out there who are now watching you in that same way. What advice would you pass on to those people who are maybe looking at getting into the sport, maybe inspired by you?
um, like I would say, don't ever think that it's too late. You know what I mean? Unless you're 45, maybe it's too late then. You know, to start and think I'm going to be a professional MMA fighter. But I started martial arts later than most at my level. You know, like I started martial arts with jiu-jitsu at 22 years old. I'm 30 now. You know what I mean? So started MMA itself when I was like 26, 27. So and I fought guys who sometimes I look at the records of guys I fought and you know they're having fights in like 2013, 2012, and I'm like, rah, like what was I doing in 2012? Like I was like, I wasn't even close to doing it. I was like in college, you know, doing a bit of track and field and partying, like you know what I mean. And I wasn't even near doing any sort of martial arts, and here I am competing against these and beating them. So yeah, don't think that you're too old if you're like in your early 20s. You're not too old. If you put the hours in on the mat, I keep in mind I had to put a lot of hours in on the mat to catch up to these guys. But it's possible, you know what I mean? And in terms of like having something to focus on and having a goal to accomplish, having like-minded people around you, a community, no matter where in the world you go, there'll be a martial arts gym, there'll be a jiu-jitsu gym. You can go, you know, if I travel tomorrow to, I don't know, to bleeding Bangladesh, I could probably find a jiu-jitsu gym and go in there and then ask them, the locals, oh, where's the best place to get food? Where's the best, you know what I mean? So if you haven't started martial arts yet, start it and it'll be the best thing you'll ever do.
Man, that is absolutely awesome. I'm thinking back to 2013 and 2012. I was playing a lot of Skyrim back then. Were you a gamer yourself?
As a teenager, yeah, definitely went through a bit of a phase of not playing games as much, but definitely now I've reignited my love for gaming. I bought a PS5 and been
Nice.
gaming quite a bit. Got Black Ops 6 now, so I've been back smashing Black Ops. So anyone who wants to smoke, um, check out my story. I'll put my gamer tag in there, and yeah, we can have a few games.
Man, I love it. I'll put your Instagram link down below. But yeah, Black Ops, like I
Yeah,
was trying to play it the other day. I think when I was like 14, could play these games. I was fast. Now these
yeah.
kids are running. So I actually feel old playing Black
Mate,
Ops.
mate, it's wild. It's wild because they're doing all the little slide, jump,
Yeah.
dive and shoot, and I'm like, mate, what is going on here? But like, yeah, I only play it for a bit of fun. I'm not going to
Yeah.
be like an esports guy or anything like that, you know what I mean? But then I see some of the KDs of some of the kids in the gym that are like 14, 15, and they're like, yeah, I'm on like a 3.0 KD. I'm like, what? Mate,
What?
that's insane. Like to be fair, yeah, when I look back on it, Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 days, that was me, you know what I mean? So I just had that like bit of a break in between, and life happened, and I can't like be sat in front of a TV screen my whole day. So
Man, I actually look back and like, I wonder. Okay, so there was a time when you and I were playing Modern Warfare, and we would just stay up all night, all weekend. We get home from school, Modern Warfare, playing Call of Duty,
yeah.
and then you and I were like, "Hey, maybe these girls are really distracting. Maybe partying." I wonder if we just committed to video games, if we could have done something. You ever think about that?
Do you know what it is? Yeah, like back then, it was never a thing. Like it was never like, oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna make money doing this. It was like you're gonna be a bum if you do this, but you'll just be some guy sat at 30 years old in your mum's basement
Yes.
playing video games. Where now I feel like the kids have like, oh, like I train MMA and then I go home and I play COD all day, and like, hey, if I don't make it in the MMA, I could be esports, and esports guys are getting paid, hundred thousands, millions. So it's like there's a viable route there for them. So it is what it is. But yeah, for me, it's just a bit of fun. You know what I mean? It's just a bit of fun and like something to unwind and take my mind off the other stresses in life. Like you said, girls and everything else like in life that gets to you.
Man, absolutely awesome. Hey, I appreciate your time, Dennis Frimpong. You're going to be fighting Oktagon 68, March 8th. After the fight, come back. We'll catch up on everything, and we'll get you booked for the next fight. These Summit guys are going to get you booked in Oktagon, right?
100%. Yeah, yeah. I think I have a multi-fight deal that's coming along with Octagon. So hopefully they're going to keep me active this time. We'll stay on it, and I've already got a couple of guys lined up. I think after this Robin Frank fella gets smoked. So yeah, Octagon 68 is it?
68.
68, right? Yeah, March 8th, Stuttgart, Germany. If you can get over there, it's a sick arena. It's a sick city. Try and get over. If not, there's loads of ways to watch it. RTL, DAZN, all that, Octagon TV. And yeah, watch me take a guy's clean off his record.
Cannot wait. Hey, thanks for your time, bro.
Appreciate it, lad. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.